10 aircraft, 40 years, and the same pattern across all of them. Secrecy begins as a genuine military necessity. It protects real advantages against real adversaries. The logic is sound, but secrecy also removes accountability. A budget that cannot be examined cannot be questioned. A program that cannot be reported cannot be challenged. A failure that cannot be acknowledged cannot be investigated. The Pentagon hid these 10 aircraft. Some of that secrecy saved lives. Some of it protected advantages that kept America safer. And some of it, more than the official record will acknowledge, protected contractors from competition, programs from scrutiny, and institutions from the consequences of decisions that, in daylight, would not have survived examination. Number 10. The U-2. The lie that reached the Oval Office. A fragile, glider-like aircraft with impossibly long wings climbs through thin atmosphere until the sky above it turns from blue to black. Below, entire cities are visible. Military installations, missile sites, supply roads. All of it photographed in perfect detail from an altitude no interceptor aircraft can reach. For 4 years, an aircraft matching that description flew over hostile territory without the knowledge of the people being photographed or the people being governed. When one was finally brought down by a surface-to-air missile, a government spokesman stood before cameras and described a weather research program. Days later, foreign officials produced the wreckage and the pilot, alive, before the world's press. The spokesman's government had no response. The why is straightforward. An aircraft capable of photographing enemy territory from unreachable altitude is worth more than any weapons system of its era, but only while the enemy does not know it is there. The moment that changes, the advantage disappears. Secrecy was not a precaution around this program. It was the program. Number 9. The A-12 Oxcart. The plane built to replace the one that got caught. A long, dark aircraft with a fuselage like a needle and engine nacelles wider than the cockpit sits on a remote desert runway. It looks like nothing else in the sky. That is intentional. It was built to be faster than any threat that could be sent to stop it, so fast that the friction of the air at its operating speed would heat the airframe to temperatures that would destroy a conventional aircraft. The materials used to build it were purchased through networks of shell companies so that no single supplier could identify what was being constructed. The pilots who flew it told their families they were conducting routine test flights in the desert. The mechanics who maintained it worked behind fences that did not appear on any public map. The why has a second dimension beyond intelligence value. The technology developed to build an aircraft capable of sustained Mach 3 flight, including the metallurgy, the engine design, and the fuel systems, fed directly into programs worth tens of billions in subsequent decades. Classifying the aircraft classified the technology, and classified technology in the defense industry belongs exclusively to whoever built it. Number 8. Have Blue. The prototype, they buried in the desert. 2 small, angular experimental aircraft sit inside a facility so restricted that the workers who built them were not permitted to discuss their existence with colleagues who lacked the appropriate clearance level. The airframes are covered in flat, radar-absorbing surfaces arranged at precise angles. They look less like aircraft than like geometric sculptures. That is also intentional. Both aircraft were destroyed during testing. Neither wreckage was recovered through conventional means. The classified nature of the materials involved meant that the debris had to be dealt with on-site, out of sight, without the recovery operations that a normal accident investigation would require. The why is competitive rather than strategic. The technology being tested in those 2 angular airframes was worth billions in exclusive defense contracts to whoever could prove it worked. Classifying the prototypes meant classifying the proof. And in the defense industry, classified proof of a capability is more valuable than the capability itself, because it cannot be replicated, challenged, or bid against. Number 7. The F-117 Nighthawk. 7 years of flights that officially never happened. A sharp-angled aircraft moves through a moonlit desert sky. Its surfaces catch no light. Its engines produce no visible exhaust trail. On radar screens in a distant facility, the return it produces is smaller than a bird. Ground crews who work on it arrive at a remote facility on unmarked transport aircraft every Monday morning and leave every Friday night. They have signed agreements that prevent them from describing their work to anyone, including their families. This aircraft flew for 7 years before its existence was acknowledged. The facility where it was based covered the flight line before dawn each morning so that passing commercial aircraft could not photograph the ground below. Pilots who flew it filed no public flight records. The Y operates on 2 levels. The first is tactical. Every year that hostile nations remain unaware that radar-evading aircraft exist is a year in which no countermeasures are developed. The second is financial. The technology inside that angular airframe represented an exclusive portfolio worth billions to the company that built it. Revealing the aircraft meant revealing the principles. Revealing the principles ended the exclusivity. Number 6. The SR-71 Blackbird. The aircraft Congress tried to kill 3 times. A long, dark aircraft sits on a runway, its twin engines already glowing with heat that distorts the air around them. It accelerates with a force that pushes the pilot into his seat and does not stop accelerating until it is moving faster than a rifle bullet. At operating altitude, the sky above is dark, even in daylight. The aircraft holds records that no other aircraft has approached. Congress voted to retire it. The service that operated it reactivated it. Congress defunded it again. Intelligence agencies continued flying it on budgets that did not appear in any public document. The aircraft outlasted every institutional attempt to eliminate it. The Y is the most instructive on this list. This aircraft was retired not because anything better replaced it. It was retired because it was expensive, because it was associated with a contractor whose political relationships had weakened, and because eliminating it freed budget for systems backed by contractors with stronger ones. It did not die because America stopped needing it. It died because the wrong company built it at the wrong political moment. Number 5. The Bird of Prey. The aircraft built to disappear visually. A single experimental aircraft sits inside a darkened hangar at a facility that does not appear on public maps. Its shape is unlike any production aircraft, smooth curves where military jets typically have hard angles, a profile that seems to dissolve against any background it is viewed against. The team that built it worked under classification protocols so strict that the program's existence was unknown even within the broader defense contractor community. It flew dozens of successful test missions. The technology it validated transferred into unmanned combat aircraft programs worth an estimated $15 billion in projected contracts. It was declassified years after its last flight and placed in a public museum, the only evidence that it ever existed. The Y is the most commercially transparent on this list. The technology being tested was not primarily being hidden from foreign adversaries. It was being hidden from competing American defense contractors. In the defense industry, a classified breakthrough is not just a military advantage. It is a monopoly protected by the United States government at public expense. Number 4. The B-2 Spirit. The bomber, revealed by a campaign press office. A massive flying wing aircraft sits inside a facility guarded by armed personnel at multiple perimeters. Its construction required front companies to purchase materials so that no supplier could identify what was being built. The workers who renovated the facility where it was assembled signed agreements that bound them for life. The congressional committee responsible for oversight received cost figures, but not performance specifications. The program remained classified through years of development and initial production. It was not revealed by an intelligence failure, not exposed by a defector, not photographed by a foreign satellite. It was revealed by a campaign press office in a single afternoon to counter an attack advertisement during a presidential election. The Y exposes how classification really works at the highest level. A program that costs tens of billions of dollars, examined in daylight, invites the question of whether the result justifies the expenditure. Examined in darkness, that question cannot be asked. Classification is described as a security measure. It also functions, reliably and consistently, as a budget protection measure. The two purposes are related. They are not identical. Number 3. The RQ-170 Sentinel. The drone a foreign government landed intact. A tailless flying wing drone sits on a desert runway, its engine humming at idle, its sensor package recording everything within a radius of hundreds of miles. No pilot, no markings. No flight plan in any system that a foreign government's air traffic controllers would be able to access. It has been flying missions over hostile territory for years. Nobody in that territory knows it is there. Then, it does not come back. And days later, foreign state television broadcasts footage of it, nearly intact, sitting on a display stand, surrounded by uniformed officials smiling for cameras. The government that built and operated it cannot respond publicly, cannot demand its return through diplomatic channels, cannot warn allies about what sensor technology and mission data may have been compromised, because doing any of those things means acknowledging a program whose existence is still classified. The why illustrates the compounding cost of secrecy. Classification protects an advantage in normal operation. But when something goes wrong, the same classification that protected the program paralyzes the response. The drone was lost. The technology was examined by foreign engineers. The secrecy that was designed to protect the program instead protected the people responsible for losing it. Number 2. The XB-70 Valkyrie, killed in plain sight. An enormous white aircraft with a delta wing and 6 engines sits on a runway that seems barely long enough to contain it. It is the largest and fastest bomber ever built, capable of sustained flight at 3 times the speed of sound at altitudes where the sky begins to darken. It represents years of engineering that pushed every known boundary of what an aircraft can do. It never entered production. The 2 prototypes built were the entire program. One was destroyed in a mid-air collision during a promotional flight. The other stands in a museum. The Y is the reverse image of every other program on this list. Every other aircraft here was hidden because powerful interests needed to protect it. This one was canceled because powerful interests needed to eliminate it. Competing contractors lobbied against it. Budget constituencies that would lose funding if it succeeded worked to undermine it. The most advanced bomber America ever built was not classified and concealed. It was defunded and discontinued in full public view through entirely legitimate institutional processes for reasons that had very little to do with whether America needed it. Number 1. Stealth Blackhawk, the helicopter that left its tail in a foreign courtyard. A modified military helicopter moves at low altitude through darkness, its rotor system producing a fraction of the sound a conventional helicopter generates. Its airframe has been redesigned to scatter radar energy. Its engine exhaust is cooled before it exits the aircraft. To ground observers, it is nearly silent. To radar operators, it barely exists. The technology inside it represents 15 years of classified development and billions in research investment. During a raid on a fortified compound in a foreign country, one of these aircraft comes down hard in a walled courtyard. The crew demolishes it before leaving, but the tail section survives. Within hours, foreign military personnel are photographing it. Within days, the images are circulating among foreign defense engineers. Within weeks, a foreign military attaché has formally requested access to the wreckage, and the country where it lies appears to have complied. The why is the most consequential conclusion on this list. 15 years of classified materials research, the rotor blade geometry, the exhaust cooling system, the radar-absorbing surface treatments transferred to foreign engineers in a single night. The secrecy that had protected the technology for 15 years protected it perfectly, right up until the moment it failed. And when it failed completely. There was no middle ground. There was no partial compromise. Classified technology, when it is exposed entirely. If you want more stories about what the official record leaves out, subscribe. We are just getting started.